Good evening. So today in the studio we have got Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao, the former ambassador to the AU. She was the ambassador for the United States. She's also the founder and the president of the African Diaspora Development Institute. She's a medical doctor by profession. So welcome to the studio, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. So I think I've browsed a little on your book, which is upcoming, Africa 102, where you talk about the complexity of Africa governance system, given that Africa inherited the governance system from the colonial regime or from the colonial age. So today we want to talk about, do we really need Western democracy in Africa? That's the question. Because this question is coming from, if you check, most of the African countries are still struggling today with their democracy and their governance. We have got electoral fraud, we have got coup d'etats in different parts of African countries. We have got a lot of chaos that is going on. Yeah. So the problem is, when you look even your public speeches when you were representing the AU, you always refer to the issue of Africa inheriting democracy, the so-called Western democracy, to govern themselves. So what's your take? Today we have got you, want to hear from you.
Well, let me start by saying Europe, it took 800 years before they would adopt democracy. United States also took a long time before they would pick up on democracy. For Africa, in the 60s, we were given a flag, we were given a parliament building, and we were told, you are now a country, here is democracy, go and vote. No planning, no education, nothing that we had anything to do with, a system imported from outside and just dumped on the Africans to say, this is what you need to be doing. When you look at it from that point of view, it's not a surprise that it is not working for Africa. This issue of saying you have to have elections every 4 years, that means you have to have chaos every 4 years. You know, the president is in power, the first year, he's trying to figure out what's going on. And by the second year, he has to start looking at how is he going to fund his next campaign in the next 2 years. The president doesn't have time to really get to the business of governing and taking care of his people and improving the quality of life for his people, his or her people. So this system of democracy, it's not even working for the West. What I find quite surprising is that we had our own governance systems for over 3,000 years before colonization.
So before you go on, I want to probe on the. You said that America had almost like 100 years before they adopted democracy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you said also Europe. So what was there before that? What did they have before that?
As for Europe, they had nothing. Everything that they have, they took out of Africa. They came to Africa and found Africans with well-established governance systems. But what did they do? They told us that our ways of governance were primitive, that we should abandon them. Like fools, we did. And accepted this imposed democracy, which doesn't even work for them. The question is, what is governance? Governance is whether or not my child can go to sleep with a full stomach, whether or not my child has clothes on their back, whether or not my child has a roof over their head. That is governance, uplifting the livelihood of your people. I don't really care what you call it. You can call it monkey, donkey, what have you. As long as I have those basics, that's governance for me. That's democracy for me. So I define democracy as the ability for a family to live a decent life. Now they come in and they call it dictatorship, democracy, what have you. But at the end of the day, if my life hasn't changed and I'm still struggling, and what is that? What is democracy? I want a system that works like it used to be for over 3,000 years, when the kingdoms all over Africa had their own different ways of governance that worked for them. What Africa needs is to then decide, we don't want to behave as the definition of insanity per Albert Einstein, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Democracy has not worked for Africa. Democracy has opened the doors for outsiders to come and continuously create chaos every 4 years. Africa needs to find a new system. What works for Zimbabwe may not work for Kenya. What works for Kenya may not work for Algeria. We need to look at it and say, at the end of the day, are we providing for our people? Yes or no?
Yes. So, but look into, like for example, the French Revolution, they had the monarchical government, which means they also had a king and some chiefs, just like in Africa. And I'm not sure of America, because America might be, it was a colony of the British. Even the British themselves, they had the queen and all the kingdoms. So the pre-colonial Africa had also that system. Don't you think that maybe democracy came in just because that system failed?
Not really. If you don't mind, I'm going to read a section, a page out of my book. I'm going to talk specifically about 5 different empires in Africa. The Ashanti Empire of Ghana. The king, or Asante Hini, was powerful, but he was not absolute. He was elected by a council of queen, mothers, and chiefs. If he became tyrant, the same council could destool him, remove him, no election, no civil war, a hearing, and you are gone. Accountability without chaos. That was the Ashanti people of Ghana. Let's go to Uganda. The Buganda Kingdom of Uganda had a Lukiko, which was a parliament of clan heads that advised the Kabaka. The Kabaka could not sell land without their consent. There were checks, there were balances, and the system worked. The Zulu nation. King Shaka built an empire on discipline and merit. You rose by courage, not tribe. The army was the nation. The nation was the army. Unity through purpose. The Igbo, people of Nigeria, no kings. The Igbo have no king. They governed by village assembly. Every man spoke. Decisions were consensus, the most democratic system on earth, and it was African. Now let's go to Somalia. A customary legal system that functioned for centuries without prisons. They used restorative justice. There was compensation, not punishment. Elders were the judges.
Interesting.
5 different countries, 5 different systems of governance. What worked for them is what worked. What did these systems have in common? They were local. The men making the law knew your name. They were accountable. A bad chief could be removed by the people, not just at an election. They were unifying. They were built to keep the community together, not to win 50% plus votes. Then the colonizer came and said, this is primitive. Abandon it. We have a better system for you. It's called democracy. Their better system gave us leaders like Mobutu. It gave us 54 presidents and no unity among us. Let me say this with all sincerity and clarity. If a king, good governance is not how you vote. It is whether your people eat. Good governance is not whether you vote, is whether your people eat. And can live a decent life. That is governance. I don't care what you call it. So what Africa needs to do is go back to the way things were, to the different kingdoms, different governance systems that worked for them.
making sure that their people are eating. But let's look into the Zulu, which I'm more familiar with. The Shaka Zulu, there was a time of Mfekane. There was a time when there was some wars. African states were fighting amongst themselves. I'm not sure if, do you really rate Shaka Zulu as one who really ruled fairly and fed everyone? And,
you see,
yeah.
You can always criticize. You can always play Monday morning quarterback, as they say in the United States.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, and the point I'm trying to underscore, is that there were different systems that worked for the different kingdoms.
Okay.
He wasn't perfect. He did the best he could. But they had their own system that worked for them. And when it no longer worked, the people had a system of changing it.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So I'm not saying what Shaka Zulu did was the best, but they had a system that worked for them. And it wasn't working. It was not used in Ghana. It was not used in Somalia, in Kenya. It worked for them. The Ugandans, they had their own system. I am simply saying, rather than accept this imported system that we don't understand, a system that was actually imposed upon us as a way of making sure that they will continue to stir us up, their windows open for them to get into our house and continue to mess with us every 4 years. Think about it. Elections every 4 years.
That's chaotic.
It is total chaos.
So
put democracy in, chaos comes in.
So now, where do we go from here now? Because already we inherited this colonial so-called democracy.
So.
Yeah. So definitely we can't find ourselves back into the pre-colonial Africa. So what is the solution? What is the way forward, especially for Africa at this time?
That's why we have parliament. That's why we have parliament. And that's why we must have debates with the people. Because the people know. At the end of the day, the people don't really care. You take, for example, a country like Qatar. It's only 350,000 people. But the population is about 3.5, 3.6 million. The rest are foreigners. The Qataris have figured out that we can bring people in from other parts of the world, let them do the work for us. But we make sure the Qatari people are taken care of. That's why there's no problem. The people don't complain. All their needs are taken care of. They don't care if the king can give President Trump a multi-trillion-dollar plane. They don't care what he does with his money. They don't care how rich the king is going to be, as long as they are well taken care of.
So are you saying in Qatar they do not have elections every 5 years or 4 years?
No, they have the king.
Okay, it's a monarchical government.
Yes, they have the king.
So you are recommending monarchical government?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what works for them. They have oil. They have the money. They're taking care of their people. They're not eating alone. Everybody goes to bed with a full stomach. Everybody has a roof over their head. When people are satisfied, you won't find any dissent. It's when people are not satisfied, when people are hungry, youth unemployment, now you're going to find dissent. What do we need to do to make sure that everyone has access to electricity? Everyone has access to water, connectivity, you young people, that we have good roads, that we get good education, that we have healthcare systems that work. That's all people want. If that can be done, whatever way we can get it done, that is governance to me.
That is governance.
And you want to call it democracy? Call it democracy. But if it works for the people, if it uplifts the livelihood of the people, that is the system we want. Parliament, figure it out. Give us
But, when we got the independence, like a lot of French colonies, British colonies, people were given the political power, but they were not given the economic power. So, for instance, in South Africa, it's not like they've got access to their government. Doesn't have access. A lot of people, black people, don't own the land. Even, of course, in Zimbabwe, maybe we can say thanks to Robert Mugabe, they own the land. But they say maybe it is a few who still own the land in Zimbabwe, yet the majority are still suffering. So how do we then make sure that we balance in resolving this issue of inheriting corruption or the minority rule where the majority are not being fed, and then our governments do not have so much economic power to make sure that the people are fed. If they want to get the economic power, it's either the West responds through sanctions. So how do we then come to a point where the French colonies deal away with the issue of this pact of saying the minerals belong to France, and you only get a little portion of. I think you can expagorate on that. Yeah.
Before coming to Zimbabwe, I was in Burkina Faso.
Okay.
I can tell you that is an amazing country. The developments taking place in Burkina Faso will blow your mind away. It is not the Burkina Faso that the Western media wants you to think. Major developments being handled by the Burkinabe people.
Nice.
The Burkinabe people have made a decision that the building of the Burkina Faso they want is their responsibility and theirs alone. Students are refusing to go on vacation because they want to participate in a program they're calling Feso Maibo, where they're saying, we are going to stay behind Mr. President, give us cement, we will make the bricks, we will pave the roads, we will build houses, but we will participate in building the Burkina Faso we want.
That's national,
that is the spirit
unity, yeah.
that existed during the War of Liberation in Zimbabwe, where people were selfless, where people were willing to do and sacrifice everything to be free, because they knew life needed to be better. What is needed, not only in Zimbabwe, but for that mentality, particularly starting with our leadership.
Okay.
Leadership that understands that they have a responsibility, that they are sitting in a chair that belongs to the people, that they have to concentrate on doing the people's business. How do we get our leadership to understand that? That when you accept that position, you are now owned by the people.
Okay.
And that your job, 100% of the time, is the business of the people. And making sure that when that budget for healthcare, that budget for energy, that budget for water is approved by the government, it is now your responsibility to follow through with your MP, to follow through with your councillor. What's our portion? When am I getting my water access? How far is the water from me? How far is the electricity from me? How far is the tarred road from me? How far is the connectivity from me? Are we educating our citizens on their civic responsibility? The answer is no. Well, then you need to go to his house. If you tell the MP that every month we need to meet with you and you need to come and tell us what have you done for us this month, and if he doesn't show up the first time, you give him a pass and say, okay, we'll reschedule. But if he doesn't show up the second time, you know where he lives. Go and sit until he shows up. And if he doesn't show up, you know where his mother lives. When we start exercising our civic responsibility, we begin to have the conversations that are meaningful, conversations that we can now come up with a system of governance that works for us through communicating with our MPs and telling them that which we need. But we have given up that seat as citizens. We're just letting the politicians do their thing. And then they come back to us when they're ready to run for elections again. Civic responsibility is something that we must teach each and every citizen in Africa so they can begin to participate in their own governance through their own MPs and councillors down to the grassroots level. Because quite often we want to just sit back and complain about, President ED. President ED passed the budget. Somebody is responsible for that budget,
Somebody's
all the way down
responsible.
to you.
Yeah.
You need to hold them accountable. But do we even understand that we have that power? We want to educate young people, citizens, to say, when your MP is not responsive, vote them out. When your MP is not responsive, go sit in their house until they show up. We have a conversation to have. We want a report card. What have you done for us this month? They need to tell you. Nobody's holding them accountable. How then do we change the system if there's no conversation? So we need to see to it that where the blame needs to be rested, we call out on the people, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and you should be doing that. As citizens, there's a responsibility. As leadership, politicians, you have a responsibility. And as the president, you have a responsibility to set the course. But are we holding the right people accountable? I do feel that at the grassroots level is where the conversations need to begin.
The conversation needs to begin. Yeah, but you mentioned the issue of Burkina Faso. I do not know, how is the government of Trayo dealing with the issue of the treasury, the wealth of the country? you know, in terms of minerals, given that they're trying to, be the owners of their own wealth and the owners of their own destiny.
Well, actually,
given the Western factors, given the pressure of Western democracy and all the pressure, the African pressure, the continent, you know.
You know, the truth of the matter is, this is something that it's really mind-boggling when you think about it, that the rest of the world, they own their natural resources. And yet we Africans, we are begging for our own natural resources. This is stupidity of the highest order. You know, you African men, you need to have balls. I'm sorry, I'm using this language. Because you do. This is your gold. There is no reason why Burkina Faso should be poor with all that gold. So they took over all their gold mines. They're running their business, they're paying their bills. Burkina Faso is hiring brand new farm equipment for everybody, construction equipment, brand new construction trucks running all over the country. They're taking over their gold. Before, they were not controlling their gold. That is what needs to happen in each and every African country. Why wait for IMF, World Bank to tell you what to do with your gold? What to do with your minerals? Niger, you remember the story of Niger? They took over the uranium. They were realizing $1 billion in uranium revenue before they took over the uranium mines. And after they took over the uranium mines, they were realizing upwards of 300 billion. Who needs aid? Who needs the West? That's just one mineral. No, take over all the other minerals. We're simply saying African men, because I'm saying men because majority of you are the leaders. You are just being downright stupid. You know, you are allowing other men to just piss on you. What they're doing to us,
What about women? Is it about the issue?
They're just too few of us. We need more of us in power. When more of us are in power, this will change.
Okay.
Look what our sister in Namibia is doing. It's kicking us, pardon my language. But I really want to take this message home. The nonsense, the stupidity has got to stop. What belongs to Africa, what is in Africa belongs to the Africans. Our natural resources are our wealth. One of the richest continent on earth. We have no reason to be poor. Sheer stupidity. If all the Africans were to come together today and say, World Bank, those stupid frivolous loans, we are not paying them. Think about it, son. What is World Bank going to do? No. Look at me, stop drinking water.
But look at Zimbabwe. But Robert Mugabe did it.
He did?
I think the problem is Africa is united. It's disunited.
Let me tell you.
But we became owners of our own mines, owners of our own lands. But what happened after then?
Let me say this.
The country went down. Our currency was no longer working, and then we had the opposition, this young generation, polarization in the country. Disunit right now. Zimbabwe is not united. Thanks to the CAP 3. I think the CAP 3 can bring. But we'll talk about the CAP 3 shortly. So. Maybe Burkina Faso is blessed to if you are saying that the country is now united under the leadership of Traore. But look at Zimbabwe. You know, look at how this young generation has gone against the present the government, and yet we are now the owners of our own mines. We are now the owners of our own lands. And then why is it not happening? What is happening in Burkina Faso? Why is it not happening in Zimbabwe?
You know, Zimbabwe, and I would say SADC in general, we really have a problem. We want to be more British than the British. We want to be more American than the Americans. I cannot tell you the number of mothers who are proud that their children cannot speak Shona, that their children speak good English. Young Zimbabweans are running away from their identity. They are running away from their culture. Where do we go from there? We failed them. We as elders should own their ignorance. How on earth would you be proud that your child cannot speak your mother tongue? Then on top of that, we are so easy to get influenced. We want to be like the Westerners. We want to hang around with these NGOs and different embassies, and we lack that deep understanding of how things work, like we did during the War of Liberation.
War of Liberation,
That is gone. Our children are very superficial. Their understanding of the dynamics of the world is limited. But I don't blame them. I blame us parents, because we are not teaching our children. The conversations we should have in our homes, we are not having them. So the children are learning from the internet. Everything they do is from
They're learning from America.
Social media. And it doesn't work for us. So I think there is blame to be shared by all. The children, yes, you have internet, but you could also pick what's right out of the internet. And as parents, we have clearly failed them. As leadership has failed the Africans. So the question then becomes, where do we go from here? I know there's the issue of, there are these wealthy people doing this and wealthy people doing that.
Yeah.
I get it. But at the same time, I also realize that there will be wealthy people in any country. I don't care what you say.
Just like Elon Musk in America.
Exactly. There will be wealthy people. And so can we stop moving forward, having the right conversations? Because some people are wealthy. Yes, we should complain. Yes, we should talk about it. But it is a reality.
Maybe the people are bitter that those who are getting wealthy wealthy alone.
I understand that. But let's face it, it's going to happen. But we cannot stop the important conversations that are needed. While we are talking about these people who are corrupt and stealing from the people, we must also continue to have those other progressive conversations that we need to take ownership of our country.
Our own country.
We need to take ownership of the development of our own country. Zimbabwe, let's highlight the good things out of the country.
Yeah, exactly.
One country I'm so proud of is Tanzania. It's one of the few African countries that is 100% electrified. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. It's 100% electrified.
100%. Everybody in Tanzania has electricity.
Oh, really?
They're looking at, I think they have like 12,000 villages. They're left with about 1,000 villages that don't have water. Roads are being built.
Wow.
They have a road system that's going to be, railway system that's going to be connecting 9 countries in East Africa. We don't talk about our own development. Right here in Zimbabwe, when I come home, once, if I'm gone for a year, the development is just amazing. I was in Kwekwe, and I'm so proud of Kwekwe because young, you could say uneducated, simply because maybe they didn't go beyond 5th grade or 6th grade. Makorokozas. They're the ones building.
They're making money. They're making money.
They're making money. They're buying houses. They're building commercial buildings.
So the Second Republic is doing a good job.
Kwekwe is a beautiful story. Kwekwe is a lovely story when you see what's happening, and the government allowing the Makorokozas to do their thing. They could really clamp down on them, but they're not because they realize what's underground is your wealth. Go for it, baby.
Go for it.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
So let's highlight the good things because there are a lot of good news out of Africa. But we don't focus on the good news. We focus on the negativity because a lot of you young people are being paid by NGOs, by outside governments to say negative things about your country. In the United States, the worst people to badmouth Africa are the Africans themselves. There's a disease of self-hate that was planted within us by the colonizers. And until we wake up from that, until we heal from that legacy of slavery and colonization, we will always be the mouthpieces of our own self-destruction. So education is where it begins.
Yes,
Why are we still using colonial textbooks?
I think so.
Why aren't we teaching our own history? No child should graduate from high school unless they pass history. No child should graduate from college unless they pass history. But we're not doing that. Instead, we focus on European history. We focus on other people's history. The stupidity, it is stupidity of the highest order. That has got to change. We need to call a spade a spade. So the children's education is limited. We must go back to the roots, teach our children about our history, teach our children about our culture. We must stand up tall and be proud to be African and be proud to be Zimbabwean. I am so glad that the First Lady is coming up with a fabric that's going to be an identity fabric that when you see somebody wearing it, either you're from Zimbabwe or you've been to Zimbabwe.
Like the way you are, I like your attire.
Well, thank you. This is a program. Yes. So we must be proud to be Africans. We must celebrate who we are because we need to understand that we are the mothers and fathers of humanity. Without the African, the rest of the world would not be. Do you know that, my son?
Yeah.
Answer me sincerely.
No, I agree with you. I think the problem is we have been westernized. The majority of the youth, I think there's a need for civic education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where we should start.
Then that's the problem. Now, how do we start? And then how do we start?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like this conversation, this program we're starting.
Yeah, yeah.
We need to start talking. We can talk.
Yeah.
We should keep talking, and we should never stop talking and tell our children the truth. What I do know is that when the Africans are really told the truth, they get it. But
For sure.
I cannot tell you how often I run into people and some of the things I say. Like, for example, we're the only dominant gene on earth as black people.
Yeah.
99.99%. When I talk to people, they never heard of that before. Why? Something so pivotal. We are indestructible. Nobody can destroy the black race. Isn't that a reason for you to walk with a little pep in your step?
But I'm getting you. But now the challenge is that it's I think it's hard to talk to someone, trying to convince someone with an empty stomach how that, you are westernized, can you be African, and the person doesn't have food on the table. So I think the Second Republic, really, for when we are looking from 2017 until now, our current government is really trying to make sure that Zimbabwe gets back to its own feet, especially this CAP 3, the Constitutional Amendment Bill. Yeah, so like you were saying that every 4 years there's chaotic elections. People are no longer focusing, looking at your definition of governance, you're saying that it's just the ability to put food on the table and make sure that everyone is well and everyone has got running water. Like Tanzania, is it Tanzania with 100% electrified? Yeah, so what's your comment on the CAP 3, given that they are saying no more elections in the period of 5 years, at least 7 years? Looking at the clauses which they're trying to amend, from your perspective of African governance, or from your perspective of what you call governance, how do you tackle this CAP 3 thing?
Well, let me start by saying, when you import democracy, you are importing chaos. You are welcoming chaos. That's a fact, that's a given, and even the mothers and fathers of democracy, they know that. What we need as Africans is to say what works for us.
Nice one.
Democracy, for sure, we know we don't need it. At least their type of democracy. If we can just go back to the roots and find something that works for Zimbabwe, what works for Zimbabwe may not necessarily work for Kenya.
Exactly.
May not necessarily work for Nigeria. But like I said, if they were to have those conversations, the MPs and the councillors, they talk about what we need, what works for us. I don't care what you call it. As long as the people, the lives are uplifted, they can eat, they have a roof over their head. That's what we need to focus on.
That's what we need, economic development.
We need to focus on development. We need to focus on uplifting the livelihoods of our people. I don't care what you call it. So, to me, that's what matters. So if this republic can focus on development and making sure that everybody lives a good life, it can be done. It's being done in many other African countries. If Parliament is going to focus on that, hold MPs accountable, make sure development is going, the president is to address the nation on a monthly basis, telling the nation what has been done, where are we. Look at starting with Harare. Let's look at roads. We can talk about the major thoroughfares going out. We have now done so many kilometers. Zimbabwe need so many 1,000 kilometers of roads. We have done so many kilometers. We have touched so many. And every month, there's a report. People can actually see. Even if I live in the most remote parts of Zimbabwe, I know the third road was 500 miles away. Now it's 400. Now it's 425. I can tell.
There's some changes. There's some changes for sure.
There needs to be that communication. I think if people were kept abreast and they can actually see that there is hope, that things are going to change.
Yes.
The conversation changes. People don't really care what you call it.
Yeah, I think no one is talking about that.
So now,
no one is talking
Zimbabwe,
about that.
No one is talking about that. We really need to do that. People need to be informed. This is what we're doing for you. You appointed us, you elected us. This is what we're doing for you. As for CAP 3, and the decision that has been made to say the parliamentarians are the ones who are going to choose the president. Again, it's a beginning of a conversation that is way past due. The conversation that says we want something different.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't continue to do the same thing.
The same thing.
Now, whether this is going to be the best thing, but it is the beginning of a conversation and the realization that we need something new. We need something different.
Yeah.
So we want to stop being Albert Einstein's definition of insanity. So I like that part to say we agree that what we have been doing is insane.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Yeah.
We need something new. Now, whether this new thing is the best thing, I don't know. But at least let's try it.
Let's try it.
And see if it works. And if it doesn't work, we try something else.
We try something else. The constitution is ours.
Yeah,
we can still amend it.
This one, this democracy thing is definitely
it's not working. Yeah, it's not working.
It's not working for Zimbabwe. It's not working for anybody in Africa. Certainly, the way it is imported into Africa, it is not working. That is a fact. It is a definition, a recipe for chaos every 4 years, every 5 years, whatever your election cycle is. And it is also a system that is open to abuse and infiltration by the Western powers to keep African governments in turmoil.
In turmoil,
Yes, to constantly create conflicts and discourse within the country. Regime changes constantly. Africans can never be left alone to do their thing. So, something needs to give. And so Zimbabwe is trying something. I don't know if it is the best thing, but the acceptance and the realization that we need something different. It's a good starting point.
No, I like the way you said it, that we have to make sure that the MPs are accountable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but given that it will be 7 years, someone is elected, is in the parliament for 7 years. If his party or her party doesn't recall that person, how do you then advise the people to make that person accountable, or to make sure that
MP?
The MP, the councillors?
No, that one is very simple. The MP is easy. You know, you set the rules.
Okay.
That's where civic education comes in. These people put you there. People need to realize the MP, they own him.
Okay.
By virtue of occupying that position.
That position.
The MP needs to know that he belongs to the people.
To the people.
And the people need to come up with requests. We must hear from you every month.
Every month.
And we want to know what you've done
what
for
you've
us.
done for us. Yeah.
And if you don't show up, civic responsibility, we know where you live.
So if he doesn't show up, and then how do you deal with him?
Because sit at his house until he shows up.
Oh, you sit at his house.
Sit at his house.
Then he locks up his house, and then he goes to somewhere else. He maybe he's somewhere in Kwekwe.
We know
runs away to
we know
Kutwara.
where his mother lives. Let me tell you, when he knows that there are going to be 500 people sitting at his house, playing drums, dancing, very happy, just waiting for their MP. And then we also come in now, you, my son, you go in with your camera.
Okay,
and we're going to come up with a list of all the, we'll have a board of the bad players in Zimbabwe.
Nice one.
MP so, no showed on this day, no showed on this day. Look at these people at his house. They're just waiting, very happy, very peaceful. They're just waiting for their MP. He'll be the one running back to the minister. Hey, can I have a little money so I can show that I've done some electricity? Can I have money so I can show that I've dug a few boreholes? I got to go back to Zunzao Makupi Kumusha. We are not exercising our civic responsibility. We want to come to Harare and protest. What is the president going to do? The budget was approved. Who is failing it? I was talking to one minister, and there was like, I think the amount was like $16 million. It's a 16 or 30. It was a huge amount of money. It was given for a particular project. 6 months later, the minister was checking the project. The people hadn't started. It was a hospital. At the end of the year, they returned the money.
Ash. Apana chaitwa Maria Dzogera.
So we are also dropping the ball. But I do know that when citizens participate in the governance, things will change. And that's what you're going to be doing, my son. Educating the citizens of their civic responsibility. Holding those councillors, holding those MPs accountable. What have you done for me this month? I don't care what you call it. You can call it democracy, you can call it citizen uprising. The point is, that conversation needs to be had.
Yes.
Those MPs must be held accountable. If they are not able to deliver, you better tell the citizens why. If the problem is the president, then we've got to talk about the president. Mr. President, what's going on? There's a budget. We're a rich country. Lots of minerals. Where's our money gone? Why can't we have electricity? Why can't we have water? But the right conversations must take place at the grassroots level. Civic responsibility. If you accomplish anything with this program, is the civic responsibility, educating our people about the civic responsibility. You own the MP, you own the councillor, you own the minister, you even own the president. Do you realize that? And own it and believe in it. And when you go to the councillor offices and you want to talk to a councillor, you tell them, we own you.
We own you.
So when we call you, you need to come right.
You need to show up.
When we tell you jump, you need to say,
jump.
Oh, hi, on your way up.
Yeah.
Because we own you. Believe me, when 500 people show up in those offices and telling the minister that, he will run. He will show up at that meeting.
But there's the issue of partisan. You want to try to come up with a group of 500 people to show up. You don't have police clearance to do that.
No, these are people who have a pre-scheduled meeting with the minister. It is a pre-scheduled meeting at a designated location. This is where we meet with our MP every month. And if the minister doesn't show up, what are we supposed to do? And he knows it will be in the manifesto that if you don't show up, we're going to see you at your house.
Interesting, Doc. Thanks having me.
We have to take we have to take back the power.
Yes.
The power must go back to the people, and that's where we are failing. The stupidity of the abuse by leadership has got to end.
Exactly.
And the people take back your power.
Take back your power. Take back your power. Yeah, we will continue with this conversation in our next session. Thank you so much. We'll talk more even on the Pan-African television network. So we want to hear more of this. I think we have started to make sure that we give out the civic education to the masses.
Yes.
And
not just Zimbabwe.
Yeah, not just
civic
Zimbabwe.
Education for the entire continent.
The entire
because
continent.
The stupidity is everywhere.
Yeah.
Stupidity from us as parents, failing to teach our children failing to understand
their responsibilities.
And misbehaving, leadership, corruption, all kinds of things. There is enough blame to go around.
Yeah.
But the question is, shall we keep just complaining, or we will try something different? Civic education. If we can accomplish that with the Pan-African Television Network, you would have moved mountains for Africa.
Thank you so much. Tinotenda.
Mazvita.